Are you ready to get your sports banter on? Brian Hemminger, love child of Albert Einstein and Howard Cosell, with a body chiseled by Zeus himself. Brandon Sharples, a man who could beat Mike Tyson in a spelling bee. Together, they form the At Odds Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the debut episode of the At Odds Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brian Hemminger, and we have an awesome show in store for you guys today. We have so much to go over. Main things, quick, we'll be going over NFL free agency, the Ezekiel Elliott situation, NCAA tournament, and then we've got a couple fun segments planned for you. But without further ado, let me introduce my fellow co-host here, Brandon Sharples. Say hi, Brandon.
What's going on, guys? How you doing? This is your very confident, your very attractive co-host, Brandon Sharples. You know, I'm basically the yin to Brian's yang. You know, what can I say? I absolutely crave controversy, controversial subjects. I crave a great debate. You know, some call me a troll. I call myself a truther. You know what I mean? You call up to this show ill-prepared, talking shit, I'm going to fuck you up. You know, I'm well-informed. I'm a successful gambler. I'm ready to go. You know, for those of you that agree with me, you know, and the majority of the things that I do say, you know, I got nothing but love for you, but I don't really have a whole lot to say to you. You know, this is all about the disagreement. This is all about the debate for me. You know, that's what thrives me. You know, I come from Ohio, but I don't like Ohio sports. You know, I grew up in a household with Ohio State fans, and we bantered back and forth. And, you know, I consider Ohio State fans as a whole to be kind of ignorant. And that kind of drove me away from Ohio sports in general. But I do love the Browns. I do love the Bengals. I have no issues with those. But I'll trash the shit out of some Indians. And I'll trash Ohio State, except for the wrestling team. But, with all that being said, you know, I'm ready to rock and roll. You ready to roll into this, Hemmy?
I'm definitely ready to roll. And a little bit about my background as well. I covered mixed martial arts for the last 7 years, particularly UFC fights. For the last little over a year, I've been covering professional baseball, particularly the Indians minor league system. A lot of focus on prospects. I've been interviewing fighters and baseball players for the last 6 years or so. So I've been all in about this. I'm kind of the professional on this show, and then Brandon is absolutely my opposite. He basically shoots from the hip, and I try to keep him honest sometimes. So I think that's why this show is going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of banter. We're going to have a lot of disagreement, particularly because, you know, I come from a family where both my parents went to Ohio State. So I came by it honestly. I mean, you're born into it. And then just a massive, massive devotion to the Indians, the Browns, the Cavs, Ohio State, all sports. You name it, Ohio, I love it. And there's just nothing you can do to stop that. So the fact that Brandon, I think what is it? Rangers. I'll let you. Get
Texas
that
Rangers. Yeah. And guess what, Hemmy? Texas beat Cleveland today, 12-11.
They were down 7-1.
Yeah, they beat Texas.
They came back.
Texas beat Cleveland 12-11 today. So suck my balls. But look, for real, I love the Rangers, Texas Rangers, Dallas Mavericks, Florida Gators, and Minnesota Vikings. I know that's kind of out there, but you know, I was made in Texas. You know, I was sloshing around in the uterus in Texas. My sister went to school there. My brother lived there. Everybody lived there. I was made there. So I feel a kind of connection to Texas in some way, shape, or form. So, but like I said, those are my teams. I'm sticking with them. That's who I love. And I just grew to have some sort of hatred, mainly for the fan base, for those teams in Ohio. But I do like the Browns. You can't hate the Browns. You can't hate the Bengals. They haven't really done a whole lot. You know, I almost feel sorry for them. So
but you don't feel sorry for the Indians? They have the longest baseball sports drought now. No?
I don't care. They have Kipnis. He looks like that douche at a frat party that I would have knocked out like 10 years ago. Can't stand that guy. I have respect for Lindor, though. I think he's one of the great prospects coming up, and I can't deny that. That's one of those things that you just cannot deny.
All right, and just so you know, even though Texas came back and won today, I bet they scored all their runs off a dude that's going to be bagging groceries in 2 weeks. So Indy's up 7-1 against the real team. So I'm getting that in there.
We're actually having a terrible, spring season. So we'll see where we go from here.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to business. First thing we're going to be talking about today is a little bit of controversy that's been going on over the last week. We had a St. Patrick's Day parade in Dallas, Texas, and Ezekiel Elliott pulled out a titty from a girl standing next to him on a parade
He sure
float.
did.
And now the internet exploded, and it has not been anything good. So I want to get your take on it, and then I'll throw in mine as well. But I'm sure that you have a lot to say on the matter.
You know, he's just a dumbass. Honestly, he's in a position where he's already kind of going under investigation. Not kind of, he is under investigation for some things with his ex-girlfriend. Whether he's innocent with that or not, it really doesn't matter because you're under investigation. And sometimes, even when you're innocent, just the allegation itself can harm your name forever. And for the fact for him to go out there in broad daylight, knowing who he is, and just pull a titty out, a big one, I might add. I mean, and he kind of like tried to keep doing it. So it wasn't just like a quick little thing. Like he kept going back to it. It's just a dumbass move. And you can tell. I mean, he is a dumbass. If you look at him, he looks like a little Ewok. You can tell he's not the brightest dude on the planet. And I thought that was retarded. Just to be,
I don't know.
That's just my kid. And you know what the other thing is? She said she was okay with it. But that was before her tits were plastered all over TMZ. And it's kind of like her name's going to start getting out there. I could see a lawsuit down the line where he's going to have to make some sort of settlement, even though she says she's cool with it now. You never know what happens when people start getting in her brain, letting her know that she can make a little bit of cash and that her reputation's damaged a little bit.
Well, I will throw out a little contention. I don't think I see a lawsuit coming because apparently they're good friends because they were on the parade float together in Dallas, and then the next day they were partying together in Miami. So I don't know. If she was thinking lawsuit, I don't think she would have flown out to Miami and partied with him the next day, too.
Money is the root of all evil, my friend. Friendships are lost over money constantly. So I'm just saying, she's thinking down the line. Good change.
I thought that you'd be like all about the titties and you'd be all like back off.
Hey, you know
on
what?
Ezekiel.
That's
what
I'm gonna tell you right now. What guy what straight man doesn't even gay man too. They can appreciate a beautiful woman and a sensual titty, but you got to look at it from a business standpoint, and that's your career. In your eyes, there's an eye in the sky everywhere trying to look at you. And you got to be smarter than that. It's a dipshit move. Don't do it. But at the end of the day, he was just trying to get some pussy. And I'm going to tell you what. That will clog a man's brain. Girls will always, be the root of all evil for men. Everything they do stupid, everything they do great seems to involve women. So what can you do?
That's the thing, though. Was he really trying? Because, he's Ezekiel Elliott. He's one of the leading rushers in the NFL. He's on the Dallas Cowboys. He won a national championship in college. He doesn't have to try.
Shit,
chicks
he
are
looks
throwing
like an
themselves at him
Ewok.
left
I
and
don't
right.
care what he looks like. I'm going to tell you what, there's so many millionaire football players out there that a lot of people don't even know, like, they're football players. Like, you've probably seen NFL players in the airport, but you don't know who the hell they are. They look like shit. So, a lot of women don't care. Even though he's a millionaire, they can be like, hey, I'm partying with Ezekiel Elliott, but when it comes to getting physical, you still have to look at that guy in the face. And he looks like shit.
Hey, what about, all he has to do is, like, roll up his shirt. Like, he always wears the half shirts or half jerseys. Just show off the abs. That'll do it, right?
He looks like he'd be in a David Bowie, freaking hanging out with David Bowie doing that shit. You know what I mean? Doing an 80s dance video. It looks stupid. I don't know. He was just trying to get chicks. I hope whoever's with him You know, they use a little bit of protection. Hey. Actually, for our listeners, speaking of protection, Hemmy, let's tell them about our little story. So Hemmy took advantage. Hemmy is Brian Hemiger. For our listeners that don't know, we call him Hemmy. That's his nickname. From now on, I'm calling him Hemmy. Don't ever expect me to call him Brian or anything else. It's Hemmy. Hemmy took advantage of a highly underutilized program through the government where you can go online and order condoms. And he put in his information, and they shipped him a fucking truckload of condoms. And I'm over there talking to him. We're preparing for this show, and I look down at this little like plastic container, and this dude has a condom store next to his computer desk. I open this up. I go, "What the fuck is this, Hemmy?" And he explains to me this program that you can go online, and they'll just send you condoms. So don't ever let anybody tell you got to pay a bunch of money for birth control. You just tell the government you need a little bit of condoms. But let me tell you about these condoms. I got to tell you about these condoms. I pull this shit out, and oh, my God. These condoms are the cheapest shit you'll ever see, and they have these random wrappers. Like this one wrapper looked like it was a football, and it said Hut 1 Pigskin. Hut 1 Pigskin. I don't know if that's for like dudes with hog dicks. I don't know what that is. They had a second one that said As One, and it had a woman and a dude hugging each other, and there's like an AIDS ribbon over their crotches. And then my favorite one, this is my all-time favorite one. There was a chick in a bathing suit fucking twerking, and it said drop one like it's hot. So Hemmy has like truckloads of these off-brand condoms that he's going to use. And I'm just like, God damn, Hemmy. You know, if I knew you would be banging out that much, I would have just pimped you out. You know, you'd be in my pimp gang, you know?
Susan, you the best he bitch in my man's stable. If I had 2 more manginas like you, I'd be a millionaire.
Personally, my favorite is it's got from a picture from a deck of cards, like a jack, and it says the one-eyed jack.
Are you serious? A one-eyed jack?
It's right there. I'm holding it in my hand right now.
Hey, for our lady listeners, Hemmy's already on Plenty of Fish. You know that app for dating? Yeah, but hopefully you're a beautiful angelfish, not some angry fat tuna fish. But hey, you know what? Hey, I don't give a shit.
I take them in all shapes and sizes, Brandon.
Right? You know what? And who the hell am I to turn down a client if I'm pimping you out? I'm all about that cash, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just want the paper, the visa, capisha, paper.
No, well, seriously though, I think this is a great program. Okay, I'm just gonna give a little backstory on the whole condom thing. All right, I was just riding in the car, and I think I had the Indians AM channel on.
Like hard for the Indians, huh?
And well, it was still set from like the day before, but the Indians weren't playing, and I hadn't changed the channel back to like rock or something. And they were just interviewing some chick, and she was bringing up this whole program about free condoms that the Ohio Department of Health was giving out. And I was just like, you know, condoms are kind of expensive. And then she was just saying all the stuff you had to do, and it wasn't that difficult. You just had to go to like the Ohio Department of Health website and fill out a thing, and then they'd ask what you wanted. And I just wrote variety pack. So that's why I got all the ridiculous different types. They said one of just about everything.
Those things look like they're probably made out of like, oh my God. They're probably made out of like recycled trash bags or some shit. You're probably putting a homeless dude's old, quilt on top of you, on your dick to bang hot chicks.
Hey, they
or
work
fat
so
chicks,
far.
whoever you meet on Plenty of Fish or Plenty of Whales, whatever the fuck you get on that site. But hey, we do tell them about our we have a little what do we want to call it?
Social experiment.
Social experiment. That's what we want to call it. So Hemmy gave his normal information to them the first time. 31-year-old white male, ready to plow some women. So he sent that in there, and they gave him a bunch of condoms. So instead, Hemmy, he put in some new information. He put in some new information from them to see if they would give him the same amount of condoms, if they would give him different condoms. So this dude, he ordered a new pack, And he put himself as a Middle Eastern gender queer pansexual who's 53 years old named Muhammad.
And my last name was Mustafayev.
Yeah, so he's going to see if he can get either more or less to see if they basically racially profile him for being not only pansexual queer, but 53 and Middle Eastern. And I told him, I was like, I don't know, man. This is Trump's administration. I don't know if they want a Middle Eastern guy breeding. They might send you a shit ton. You know, I don't know.
I'm hoping that it arrives in like a dump truck, and they just cover my whole porch in condoms. That's the dream.
If that happens, we're gonna have to quit this podcast right away because I'm gonna be pimping the shit out of you. We're gonna travel the country, just finding old lonely whores, and I'm gonna pimp you out for some steaks. You know, just the bare essentials to get us going. Yeah. You know,
you the best he bitch in my man stable. If I had 2 more manginas like you, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire off your ass. You better get a chiseled body.
I'm working on it, okay? I started that ketogenic diet or whatever on like January, and I lost like 40 pounds, and then I gained back like 7. So, but I started it back up again today. Today was the day that I started it again.
I'm 31 years old, right? I'm rocking the fuck out of a dad bod right now. You know what I mean? I am rocking the dad bod. I am quintessential dad bod guy. I have arms of fucking Zeus, but the gut of Hank Hill and the ass of J-Lo. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that's what I am. I'm like God has put pieces together and created me. I look like shit, but I got, for some reason chicks dig me. I don't get it. I'm the shit, I guess. But listen, I look at my son. He's only 5 years old. He's ripped like fucking Jesus. I'm like, what the hell? Stop making me feel bad, kid. So I just basically thumb wrestle him and fuck him up thumb wrestling to show him who the real king dick of the house is.
There you go. Dude, my dad never took it easy on me when I was growing up. I mean, we would play ping pong, and we would play a thing called Skunkers Derby, where if I didn't get skunked, I would win. So
shit. You know what my dad did?
I had to score 1 point on him.
Did you ever do it?
Yeah, eventually I was able to win Skunkers Derby every once in a while.
Yeah, right. You probably disappointed him like you did when you tried, like you tried to shoot that deer. Hemmy's dad took him out deer hunting, and Hemmy missed a deer from like 3 feet away.
Dude, I missed 8 shots, and I saw like 100 deer that day. It was, I'm pretty sure he was ready to disown me by the time we were done. It was bad.
He's like, let's get home and throw some baseball. I can't take this shit anymore. No, you want to know what my dad did? Yeah, we didn't play catch. My dad drank fucking Canadian Mist, and we listened to Frank Zappa.
You know what my dad
titties and beer.
I listened to Meatloaf,
fucking Doobie Brothers,
Meatloaf, and Queen, and Simon and Garfunkel. Those are my 3 that my dad was always playing. And I still listen to those guys like religiously now. Dude, I've heard you rock out some Meatloaf at karaoke, so I know that you're a fan.
And I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. I do a lot of things for love if I'm drunk enough. Give me a couple beers, I'll do a lot of things for love. But anyway, what are we on to now?
On track. Yeah, we got to get back on track. By the way, we do have a call-in option. If anyone would like to call in and troll us, or if they have anything they would actually like to say on the subjects we're talking about, our number is 347-850-8386. If you're listening on the live Skype, or if you're looking at the website right now on Blog Talk Radio, there's also a Skype button you can press that you can call in as well. So anyway, we're going to switch up things, and we're going to go back to some sports news. NFL free agency started last week, and it was a pretty wild week. We had a lot of players moving all over the place. A lot of teams made themselves better. Some teams made themselves way worse. And we're going to go over just not everything, but who we think did the best, maybe who we thought did the worst, and then we'll go over something that just happened this week as well. So, Brandon, who did you think had the best free agency?
I think the Patriots had the best free agency. They signed Stephon Gilmore, the top DB. They re-signed Hightower, which is huge.
Monstrous.
Yep, they may recoup more from a Butler trade, too. We're talking trades and free agency. They actually got Rex Burkhead from the Bengals. And you know how they take people that really didn't perform from other teams and make something out of them. So
they do
Burkhead
it to the Browns all the time.
Burkhead may turn out to be somebody tough. They traded for Brandon
Cooks.
Yeah, they traded for Brandon Cooks. In a steal, in my opinion. They traded for Dwayne Allen, he's a highly athletic tight end. They got Coney Ely, a defensive end. Carolina, I mean, he's tough. They did well, and they still got some more moves they could do if they can trade Butler. He wants out now, so they did great. What about you?
I hate the Patriots with a freaking furious passion.
I love the
but
Patriots.
I have to respect.
You trash Tom Brady,
them.
It's fighting words.
No, it's not. It's not Tom Brady. It's Bill Belichick more than anything. Just because the Browns sucked ass so bad when he was their coach, and now everybody hails him as the greatest thing since sliced bread.
He didn't get a fair shake.
It's more a jealousy thing. Like,
don't be so bitter, fucking god damn.
Yeah. Hey, when you get a lifetime,
pull your big boy pants up, Hemmy.
When you get a lifetime of losing as a Browns fan, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we'll see.
You need to start enjoying success.
But there was another team that had a really good free agency. The fucking Browns. Come on. They at least deserve a golf clap, okay?
I'll give them a fucking ball slap. Whatever. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you real quick.
Yeah.
I'll let you on paper say the Browns did good, but they're the fucking Browns, and you never know if they're still going to be bad or not. You know what I mean?
They're not even going to win half their games.
I want to see some improvement.
But
if these players, if the moves that they made just turn into shit like usual, then I mean, what else are you going to say? Yeah. You know that they go right back down to the cellar for me. But I'll let you have it on paper.
Yeah, the Browns. Their offensive line was a disaster last year because Bitonio got hurt, and then they let Alex Mack and Mitchell Schwartz go, and they didn't replace them with anybody. It was a complete clusterfuck. But they go out there, they get Kevin Zeitler. I think he was the best guard or just best offensive lineman, period, available.
For sure.
They got him. They get J.C. Treader, a center from the Packers, a guy that when he's healthy, he's freaking beast. He did great last year until he got hurt. So we'll see. If he can stay healthy, now with those two guys added to Joel Bitonio and Joe Thomas, the Browns' offensive line actually looks half decent as long as they stay healthy. And that's something I'm actually mildly excited for, especially because they gave up 62 sacks last season.
If they can get somebody other than fucking Uncle Rico running around back there, maybe they can play some shit. You know what I mean?
And the only thing that I didn't like was that they let Pryor go, but they did replace him with Kenny Britt, a guy that had almost the exact same statistics as him last season and is about the same size.
I'll tell you what, man, I like Britt.
So,
Britt's I like good. Britt. I feel like Britt's been in a situation where he hasn't had a good quarterback. I'm not obviously going to Browns. He may not have a good quarterback, but a lot of people didn't like that signing, but the talent's there. He's a freak athlete. You get him you put him on the Patriots, probably tear shit up. You know what I mean? You get him on, Green Bay, something like that. I mean, he'll be doing good. And so if they can get a QB, if they can trade for Garoppolo, or maybe I don't want him to get a rookie. I think Kessler did all right. So I mean, if they can get a quarterback
with a line could do some damage.
That's what I'm saying. If they can get a serviceable QB that can throw the ball. Too bad they don't have McNown anymore. But they or McCown. I mean, he would have been a nice addition with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they got Brock Osweiler now.
Yeah, fucking douchebag.
What did you think about that trade? The Browns basically paid.
I like the trade.
$16 million for a second-round draft pick.
I love that shit because I obviously when you first heard it, literally like the second I heard it, I was like, what the fuck? Because I was sitting there talking to some people about how I wanted them to get Jimmy G, and I'm huge on Jimmy G. I love the quarterback position. I study it. I know it. And when I see him, I see a star. I love Jimmy G. And I thought that the Browns were going to get him. And then when they made this trade, I initially was like, what the fuck? This is terrible. What are you doing? And then I started to dissect it, and I started to understand about the contract. You know, they can cut him. And they're not on the hook for all that money that everybody thought they're on the hook for.
Yeah,
and
they're on the hook for 1 year's worth.
1 year's worth. And you know what? That's the thing. 1 year's worth of salary. And if he does great, then you just got him signed anyway. You don't have to worry about some stupid extension. But if he sucks, you just drop him, and you're not on the hook for anything else. It doesn't count towards your salary cap or anything. It's a good trade. It's a good trade. I don't know what they're kind of dragging their feet with it now. I don't know what they plan on doing with it. But, you know, it's not draft day yet, and I think that's where you're going to see a lot more trades happening. I think you could see Jimmy Garoppolo going, but at the same time, the Pats like him. They really do like him. And it doesn't seem like they want to let him go easily. And he is their heir apparent, and he looked well when he played in the season. So
the problem is
he's a vampire. He may be around for another 50 years. You never know. You know, he may be around when we're old guys. But, you know, they plan on him being around a couple more years, you know, serviceably, and they want to get Jimmy G in there. So I understand that. So they're asking for a big price. But if I'm the Browns, I'm trading that 12th pick. I don't care what anybody says. I don't give a shit. Who are you going to get at the 12th pick in this draft that's better than him? That's ready for you. He's ready. He's been, tutored under the best quarterback of all time, under the best coach of all time, in a great system. He's ready. He's ready to play for you. He can run. He can throw. He's got a banging arm. I mean, this dude is the real deal. I will co-sign him to my death. They need to get him, and if they get him at 12, get him. That's my take on that. But who do you got?
Kevin Favreau in the chat room just said Jimmy G is last year's Osweiler. What do you say about that?
Kevin has fucking 12 feet of height and fucking 2 inches of brain. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He's a fucking dumb shit. Brock Osweiler is a turd. He's just an overgrown snake. He's a fucking snake. I'm going to tell you what. Jimmy G is Aaron Rodgers. That's who Jimmy G is.
He's the next Aaron Rodgers. All right.
He's the next
Those
Aaron
are bold
Rodgers.
words. We're going to see.
I am all in. I am all in.
I'm
fucking
saving that audio, and like 4 or 5 years down the line, when Jimmy G gets caught with 20 hookers, and
you know what? He's probably going to be hanging out with you.
Over for 3 years. I'm just going to keep playing. I'm going to keep playing that quote.
Yeah, you know what? He may not be as good as Aaron Rodgers, but he's going to be one. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. He's going to be a Pro Bowler. He'll be as good as Luck for sure. I would take him over Luck.
Right now.
Right now, I think Luck's an interception machine, and he gets hurt like son of a bitch. But I mean, that could be who he has around him. But it's a bold statement. I think it's just I'm so high on Jimmy G, I'm willing to say pretty much anything right now.
Yeah. And I wanted to throw in my 2 cents on the Osweiler thing.
Sure.
Basically, the Browns had $101 million in cap space for this season, and even after all
half of it.
The money they spent, like they extended Bitonio, they got Zeitler, they got Treader, they got Kenny Britt, they still had over $50 million. So there's just no way they were going to spend it all. Almost all the best guys were off the board by then anyway.
Yeah.
So they're just like, fuck it, let's use some of this extra money and buy a draft pick. And the Texans were so desperate to get Osweiler's contract off their books that they gave the Browns a 2nd-round draft pick to take him.
And
which is hilarious.
And now Texans, it seems like they're having a little bit of an issue getting Romo, which is who they wanted.
Yeah, because the Cowboys aren't even cutting him yet.
No, they haven't cut him yet. They don't know what the hell they're doing with them. So Texans are like, shit, what are we going to do now?
If they don't get Romo, this move is going to backfire so hard for them.
Well, they weren't even – I don't know what they were going to do because it didn't seem like
they
wanted to play him anyway.
And I think Hoyer was a decent quarterback.
Yeah, Hoyer's going to head it up at the 49ers now.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good fit for him. I mean, they got fucking nobody, but
yeah,
he gets to play.
Let's talk about
who's the worst. Who's your worst?
I was going to say, let's talk about who had the worst free agency. And I hate to do this to you, Brandon. I know they're your team. But, dude, Minnesota Vikings sucked some serious shit in free agency. I mean, they lost their left tackle, Matt Khalil. They let AP go. They lost Captain Munnerlyn. They lost 2 receivers, Charles Johnson, Cordell Patterson, and they lost out on the Alshon Jeffrey sweepstakes. They let Jeffrey go to Philadelphia. They didn't bring in a big-time receiver when they lost to, and they lost Rhett Ellison, their tight end. They even let their punter go. And
Jeff
all they
Locke.
were able to do, bring in like one guy or two offensive linemen that were not elite. Like
fuck you, Hemmy. Fuck you, Hemmy. I don't give a shit what you have to say.
Seriously, it was bad. Brandon Gerber said it right. Minnesota equals dumpster fire.
Yeah, they are a dumpster fire. And you know what? We're supposed to be at odds, but I can't do anything but agree with you here because I'm so fucking fed up with them. Okay, let's hear this. They got rid of Cleo, who's probably the worst left tackle in football. So that's cool.
He made the Pro Bowl once.
His rookie year.
The dude ahead of him got in a bar fight.
Yeah, his rookie year. And then every year he got worse and worse. Till last year, I just wanted to punt him in the nutsack. Tell him, get the fuck out of here. He was so bad that he got in altercations with fans. So we replaced him with Riley Reif, who was one of the other worst left tackles in the game, and we're paying this dude $10 million a year. $10 million a year. We got Dayton Jones, who's a defensive lineman from Green Bay. We pay him almost $4 million a year. He's okay. He's not bad. He's a serviceable player, but he's not impact. We got Remmers. He's an offensive tackle from Carolina. We pay this dude $6 million a year.
What's funny is you guys basically traded offensive linemen because Mack went to Carolina, didn't he?
Yeah, and on Andre, Khalil, Matt Khalil went to play with his brother.
Sorry.
Yeah, Khalil went to play with his brother in Carolina. But we lost Andre Smith, which is offensive guard. I mean, not great, but he's okay. We lost Patterson. So get this shit. You trade up in the draft to draft Patterson. Somehow the dude's a giant freak of an athlete, and they never could find a way to use him. They could never find a way to use him. Not even decoys, speed. No, jet sweeps, the drag. They didn't do anything. There's all kinds of things that you can use with that kind of speed, and they just never used him. And then they just got rid of him. So you just wasted that draft, in my opinion. You get rid of your punter. Locke is one of the better punters in the league. And we re-signed fucking old-ass Terrence Newman, who's probably got grandkids. We got him. we got a couple guards, Karen and Surlis, they're just whack. And then we re-signed those guys. Our offensive line was probably the worst in football, and we re-signed like 2 guards. And then we re-signed Adam Thielen. Now, Adam Thielen, he played well. But let me tell you this. We have, since Moss and Carter, I can't think of a great receiver that we've had in a long time. And you have Brandon Marshall sitting out there, cheap as fuck. And you're not playing, and you didn't get him. He just basically went across town to the Giants.
I got a question in the chat for you, Brandon. They want to know,
what's up?
What do you think about Treadwell in 2017?
Treadwell. Here's what I know about Treadwell. Everybody's super hyped about his athleticism. Everybody's super hyped about his ability to jump. He's got good jumping ability, but his hands are whack, can't catch the ball, and his route running is pedestrian. Like, I feel like I could send Hemmy out there and run the same routes as this dude. He just has no cut. He's just a big body that can jump. He's a big body that can jump. He's not that fast. But he's got that, you know what he is? He's like he'd be like a hybrid tight end who's going to be sitting in the slot a little bit here and there, but he can't run slot routes. I mean, it's just like, I don't know what the hell to do with that guy, to be quite honest with you. I wanted the receiver Doxson. I wanted Josh Doxson, that he got picked off by the Redskins, a pick before us. I wanted him because he is someone that I think you guys should look into next year for Washington. I think that now that I think Pierre Garcon's gone, so Doxson's going to be able to fill in some slots, and that's who I wanted the Vikings to pick because he's an athlete and he can run the routes and he's got big hands. So I wanted him. So I was high on Treadwell, like athleticism, but I knew he had problems dropping the ball in college, and it obviously hasn't gotten any better because he's a first-round pick and he didn't play a lick last year. Mm-hmm. And that's for a receiving core that was shit. So I mean, that tells you right there what I think of him and what the team thinks of him. You know what I mean? So he's got some improving to do.
Work cut out for him.
He's got his work cut out for him.
Well, there's another thing that happened in free agency was actually just a couple days ago. We had one of the first major running back signings. I wanted to get your thoughts on that one with the Seahawks, actually.
Yeah, they signed Eddie Lacy, fat body Eddie Lacy. They signed him to $3 million guaranteed. He during his physical, this dude weighed 267 pounds. He was listed at 234 last year. So tell me if his dedication's there. This fucking guy can't dedicate anything to his life. He just eats burgers.
Gravity is stronger in Seattle. Huh?
Yeah, whatever. He's probably having trouble breathing up there with all this fucking cheeseburgers he's huffing and puffing on. This dude, tell me this shit. This guy has a $385,000 bonus if he can keep his weight down. So he's literally such a pile of shit that he's getting paid $385,000. Some guy's retirement for working for 30 years. He gets paid that this year just so he won't be a fat fuck. Tell me that is crazy. This dude has a weight bonus. If he keeps his weight down, he gets $385,000. And let me tell you this. This lazy son of a bitch probably won't do it. He won't do it for over $250,000. This guy is a bum. I have no faith in this dude whatsoever. Sack of shit. What is your take?
He wouldn't be the only guy that showed up to training camp out of shape. I mean, we've had pretty good history of dudes that did not take their job seriously. Like for me, number one all time, Pablo Sandoval. Motherfucker signed $95 million contract with the Boston Red Sox a couple years ago. Showed up and he broke his belt swinging a bat. Like if you've seen this video, please, if you have not seen this video, watch it. It is hilarious. He's up there swinging left-handed, swings, and his belt snaps.
What a sack of shit.
Like he was that fat. And then he's basically done absolutely nothing with the Red Sox. They were not even going to let him make the team last year. I think they were going to send him to the minors, and then he hurt his shoulder and had to miss the rest of the year. So, I mean, that's right there, number one for me all time. Dudes not like getting paid and then just fucking off.
Who else you got?
Well, I have a couple other ones, but like that's number one. I thought Lendell White. I mean, he showed up like he was thunder and lightning to Reggie Bush in USC, and then he goes to Tennessee and he was like dumpster fire instead.
Well, you got
dumpster
the all-time
fire
one,
and lightning. So.
The all-time one ever.
All right, let's hear it.
Demarcus Russell.
Yeah.
You know, he came in fat and out of shape and worthless, signed that huge rookie deal, didn't give a shit. Turned into the biggest bust of all time. You got him, Vince Young.
He could throw it 65 yards from his knees, though, right?
Yeah, too bad when your knee touches after getting tackled, you're down. Doesn't matter. He's got a bum ass. Jesus Christ. And then he wanted to make a comeback, and he still is fat. I'm like, man, you just need to hang it up, brother. You need to start mentoring kids in inner city or some shit. But then you got Vince Young, who won the Rookie of the Year, and then just got fatter and fatter every year. It's like he was trying to split off into two people, but he couldn't. You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense.
Tried him
right
at the end of his career, and then when the Browns don't even keep you, you know you're bad.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, or they just don't know how to coach you. And then you got Mike Williams. Remember Mike Williams from the Lions? He was from USC. Mm-hmm. He got fat as shit too. The dude was a freak of nature in college. Amazing. And then when he had to sit up that year because he tried to get drafted early. Got drafted 7th by the Lions, and then just turned into a fat body. You know what I mean? Then they tried to stick him at tight end. It didn't work. It just didn't work. And that just brings me to my point. If you're passionate about something, you're gonna work hard and do what you love to do, and be the best you can be. And then you got these guys that just have the entire world in the palm of their hands, $1 million contracts, and they just don't give a shit. And if they had some sort of other life that they wanted to live, like say Lacy was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take the millions I earn now, and I'm gonna build something that's gonna impact the community. Cool, man. Instead, he just doesn't. He's barely coherent when he talks. You know, you don't know what the hell. He just wants to sit on his ass. And he doesn't want to work hard for this money that people dream of. He hit the lottery. He was given a gift. He was played at Bama. People want to draft Bama players. I mean, he was given a gift. I just can't stand people that waste talent. It just blows my mind. There's people out there that
Yeah.
work their ass off just to be mediocre. And this dude, he's trying to be mediocre. That doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
Well, that does bring us to our one of our last segments for today's show. We're going to talk about the NCAA tournament. That's the big news now. Free agency starting to fly down.
We got somebody trying to call in here.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
We do, actually. Hang on. Yeah, they've been on hold for a minute. So you just talk. I'm going to check them out in the screening room.
All right, guys. But anyway, that's a free agent talk. I'm still anticipating some trades coming up in the NFL around the draft time. I'm hoping that, like I said, I want that Jimmy G trade to come in. I'm thinking that the Pats are going to trade Butler and get right back into the first round. Probably pick a perennial Pro Bowler at the end of the draft. Do what they always do. We're going to be getting into the NCAA tournament here in a second and go over some of our picks. We're going to go over some. We got that, Hemmy?
I'm back. Actually, our guest actually wanted to talk about the NCAA tournament. So we're going to do our initial thoughts, and then we'll bring him on. So how's that sound?
Good. Sounds
All right.
good. Let's get into it.
All right. First things first. Who is your Cinderella team in this NCAA tournament? Who do you have like that's a 10 seed or bigger that's going far? And how far are they going?
Well, this is it's not really fair because Wichita State is a 10 seed, but they're just so drastically underseeded. They're a 30-win team, and they have a history of going deep in the tournament. They're a 10 seed, and they run into Kentucky.
I think they should be like a 5 seed.
Yeah, so they are a 10 seed. I mean, if I'm going to run that, I'm going to run them into the Sweet 16. I have them beating Dayton and Kentucky and going into play UCLA. I just think UCLA is going to stop them right there. But as far as as crazy as this sounds, because this is such a like a wide open year.
Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot of them going past like the Sweet 16. Like I have Middle Tennessee State, which is a 12 seed, going to Sweet 16, losing to UNC, but they beat Butler. I got Oklahoma State. They have a couple of good wins, man. I like them. They're going to take out Michigan, fucking Big Ten, and they're going to take out Louisville and go into play Oregon. And I know Oregon's down a player, but I still like their team, and I got Oregon stopping them there. What else do I got here? I don't have a whole lot over here. I like UNC Wilmington. Now they're playing Virginia first round, and that's an interesting game to me. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I got them. Now I don't have this happening, but they could beat Virginia. And then, as painful as it sounds, I love Florida, but Florida's limping in. And I could see UNC Wilmington taking out Virginia and Florida and running into Nova. But, that the train stops there for me. But the reason
that would be pretty sick.
The reason I think that Virginia game in UNC Wilmington is such a good game is because Virginia's kind of shitty on offense. I mean, they're only ranked like 312th in the country in offense. That's not going to win games for these guys, you know what I mean? But their defense is ranked number 1 in the country. Now, UNC Wilmington is 10th in the nation in scoring, and they're 241st in D, so you got like polar opposites here. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, you know what I mean? They could definitely see an upset here. I can definitely see an upset. And then they match up pretty decent with Florida when you go into the next round. So I'm not going to be a homer here. I'm going to be straight up honest. I think Florida's they're not coming in. They're not going to Elite 8 again, So
I'll admit, I did pick UNC Wilmington to get that upset as well. So we actually agreed on that. Here's my upset team, and no one's going to see this coming because I'm probably fucking wrong. All right. SMU. All right. The Mustangs, Southern Methodist University. I have them beating the Providence USC winner. Then I have them beating Baylor, and then I have them beating Duke. They are an Elite 8 team for me, baby, as a number 6
You want to
seed.
know something? They shouldn't be a number 6 seed either. They're a 30-win team too. I mean, you don't have many 30-win teams in there. And another thing is I have them beating Baylor as well, but I have Duke beating them. Duke's just too talented for them. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right.
But
we're supposed to be at odds here, Hemmy. I mean.
Yeah, I know. Well, we do
it.
actually have someone that I think can contribute to the odds. He has been patiently waiting on the phone to offer his 2 cents on the NCAA tournament. Mr. Brett Lobb from Columbus, Ohio.
What's up, Brett?
Long-time
Welcome
listener, first-time caller. I've been listening to you guys for all of 50 minutes.
Oh, my God. You're
how are we doing so
fan.
far, Brett?
Grand. See, I'm glad that you guys brought up underdogs and NCAA tournament because this is a year that is wide open for me as well.
Sure.
After my team, Ohio State, got declined a bid for the NIT tournament. Declined. Not
Pretty
invited
brutal.
to the NIT. So this is a year that I am going for the underdog. So that's pretty much who I'm going for, too, because it's like, you know, they've already come out with a statement saying that Thad Matta is coming back next year, which is kind of pathetic that they have to do that before the season was even over. But I'm just looking for all of those upsets for Duke and UNC to get taken out because I'm sick of the same old people in the Elite Eight and all that good stuff. So
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking for Grayson kicking somebody in the dick in the Final Four.
It's heartening. As bad as it is for me, I know you hate the Big Ten, Sharples. I have to root for Michigan to do good.
Let me tell
Big
you
Ten
guys,
look good.
the Big Ten is whack this year. You guys got to be
dog
shitty. They're just a shitty conference. Their best team's Purdue, and they're whack as fuck too. So I mean, where are you going to go with the Big Ten? You're not going to have a lot to cheer for.
Call me crazy. I have the Big Ten winning every opening round game.
Oh, Jesus,
every single one. I think they're in like 8 of them.
This
They're
is where
going to
we
win them all.
This is where we. You're dumb as shit. Let's go here.
I don't have a lot of them go into the Sweet 16. I only have 2 winning after that. But they're going to win every opening round game.
You have no fucking logic. It makes no sense. Let me tell you this. Minnesota is shit, and they're going to lose to Middle Tennessee State, a 12 seed. I don't even know how Minnesota got a 5 seed. You got to be shitting me. SMU is a 6 seed, and Minnesota is a 5 seed? Oh, my Lord. I mean, they're the dipshit.
I think I'm jumping on the Hemm wagon with SMU going all the way.
Hey, I love SMU.
Dude,
I'm not. There's
if
no
SMU
argument
makes
here,
it to
man.
the Final Four, I want,
They're fucking loaded. They're awesome. I'll tell you what. But you know what I like about Wichita State is Wichita State. They're all team play. They don't really have a major player that's carrying them. They're just all they work.
And they're called the Shockers. So that's
we love shocking bitches.
Yeah.
You know.
Two in the pink.
So there's my 2 cents. Also,
I like to do 1 in the pink and 2 in the stink. You know what I mean? I like to get.
Brett had one last thing he wanted to say.
What's up, buddy?
Also, Eddie Lacy. I heard you talking about him as getting $300 some odd million or $1,000 to keep his weight down.
Yeah.
There's a spot open for Subway. He should be the new Jared. I think that's got Eddie Lacy written all over it.
Maybe.
So.
Well, I was trying to get a new contract for fucking NFL. I turned to Subway, and I ate chicken teriyaki every day. Motherfuckers.
No cheese. No cheese.
Okay.
Yeah,
we
no
have,
cheese. No, that motherfucker gets
someone...
13 pounds of cheese.
Okay, well, that's my 2 cents. So thanks, guys.
All right, brother.
Yeah,
have a good
thanks
one.
for calling in, Brett.
Yeah, bye.
All right. That was Brett Lobb calling in from Columbus, another 04 Oak grad. We have some interesting comments here going on in the chat room. Brandon Gerber says, Notre Dame Final Four. Now, I can't 100% agree with you on that, Brandon, but I do have Notre Dame beating Gonzaga and making it to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I'm close. What do you think?
I know this is called At Odds Podcast, but we're not going to be at odds, apparently, this whole fucking program. Wait till football season, I guess.
We will be when I talk about our Final Fours, okay, and our champs.
I have ND going to the Elite Eight. I haven't beaten Gonzaga, but I have them losing to my school, Arizona. And it's not just because I went to school there. It's because I genuinely think they're the best overall team in the country right now as we speak. They're just playing the best ball right now. But ND's tough. ND is the best free throw shooting team in the entire country. And that's gonna carry you in a tournament like this. That's where you win. You're going to the foul line. Everybody's trying to win. They're sending people to foul line like crazy in the NCAA tournament. So the best free throw shooting team in the whole country. It's gonna carry them in this tournament. The thing is, Gonzaga's huge. They got a bunch of big-ass white dudes. So, I mean, the guard play of Notre Dame's, they're going to have to hit some jumpers because they're going to get smoked on the inside.
Well,
but if they can hit some jumpers
it's so important in the NCAA tournament. It's much more important than having big dudes. Big dudes don't usually become a huge factor in the tournament.
Well, what they need to do, it just depends on how good they are. What they need to do is they need to get those guards driving to the hole and getting fouled so they can get to the line. But I like Gonzaga, but I don't. I like Notre Dame. And if Notre Dame was in any other region, I might take them into the Final Four. I really would.
All right, so who's your Final Four? Let's hear it.
I got Duke, Arizona, Oregon, and UCLA. Now I know Oregon's got a Butcher down, but he's getting replaced by a pretty big stud coming out of high school that's playing well anyway. And that region sucks. If I'm going to be blunt, that region sucks. I don't like Kansas. I think Bill Self has had a number 1 seed 6 times, and he's only been in the Final Four 1 time with that 1 seed. It does, he's not bearing well. They're going to run into Iowa State probably if Iowa State doesn't get. Iowa State has Nevada first round. Nevada is very tough. They can shoot. They got 3 guards that are badass. They got Cameron Oliver. They got what's his name? Marcus Marshall and Jordan Caroline. That's who it is. And they all can shoot the shit out of the ball. So Iowa State has that 5-12 upset potential. But I like Iowa State big time.
I picked Nevada to beat Iowa State.
But I like Iowa State. Iowa State is probably going to play Kansas. They split this year, so Iowa State could, and Iowa State beat them last time they played. So Iowa State could roll with that. They're going to be tested. Where I don't think Kansas is going to be tested because they only got NC Central, I think they play, and then they play Miami, Florida probably, or Michigan State, one of those two. And I think they roll both of them. So Iowa State may be battle tested. You know what I mean? With that mindset, they can go. But I think Oregon has a pretty clear path to the Elite Eight because I don't like Louisville, and so then you got Oregon matching up with Iowa State, and I like that. That's why I got them going. I don't really particularly have some crazy confidence in that pick, but then I got UCLA going because guard play is huge in the tournament. They got Lonzo Ball. They got another freshman that's extremely tough. What's his name? TJ Leaf. TJ Leaf, he's super tough. He's a freshman, and they're peaking at the right time. They only have 4 losses this year, so they're looking good. So I like a UCLA Arizona championship game, and I got Arizona winning it.
All right, here's mine. I actually do agree with you on 2 of my Final Four. I hate to say that. I have Arizona and UCLA in my Final Four as well. So I don't know how we possibly could have come to that same conclusion, but I just think Arizona. As I agree with you that they're one of the best pure teams. They don't have like the elite player, like that one guy that is just unbelievable. That's like so much better than everybody else. But they, as a team, they are really good. UCLA actually does have multiple elite players. That's why I think they'll make it. And then on the other side, though, I'm going Villanova. I think that they can. They won it all last year. Maybe it was
like 30-3. I mean,
end,
they're tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And they still have one of the best players in the country in Josh Hart. So I think that they're in really good shape. And I think that overall, I think Duke is going to seriously underperform. They've been so inconsistent all year. I really think I honestly do think SMU beats Duke.
But you know that makes me sound who's peaking? Who's peaking right now?
I know Duke's peaking.
You got a Duke team peaking. I mean, they beat everybody. Yeah. They beat everybody.
There's another team that's peaking too, and people are going to laugh at me. Here's the other side. That's where the craziness comes in. Okay, I went pretty obvious 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed for my other 3, but then I went with Purdue coming out of the Midwest bracket. This is my bracket where the Big Ten runs train on everybody. Okay, I have the Big Ten getting their ass kicked in every other bracket, in every other region. I have them winning their first game and then losing the second game every single time. But in this one, I think Michigan State wins their game against Miami and then gives Kansas a run for their money. I have Michigan beating Oklahoma State and then upsetting Louisville, then making it to the Elite Eight. And I think Purdue beats Kansas in the Sweet 16 and then it's a repeat of the Big Ten championship game. Purdue, Michigan again in the Elite Eight, and this time Purdue gets the better of them.
Yeah, I think you've been jacking
Caleb
off a little too much. You're blind right now.
AKA Swaggy's P. That dude, he is going to he is going to carry Purdue into the Final Four. That dude is too good.
Let me tell you a little something. I got one Big Ten team winning. No, I got two. I will give you two. I got Wisconsin beating Virginia Tech, and I got Maryland beating Xavier. Outside of that, fucking Michigan's going to get beat by Oklahoma State. Purdue sucks. They're a bunch of white motherfuckers, and they got one dude named Swaggy. And Swaggy's going to sag his pants all the way back to fucking Boilertown, and they're going to lose to Vermont. And I got Michigan State going to lose to Miami because them boys know how to party. And then we got, what else we got? Any other shitty-ass Big Ten? Oh, Minnesota. They're going to lose to Middle Tennessee State. It's not going to be a good, it's just not going to be a good postseason for Big Ten football or basketball. I hate to tell you. You guys are going to be having your heads hung down waiting for football season to start.
I'll admit, there are no elite Big Ten teams, but I just think, I really do, that the Midwest is ripe for a Big Ten takeover. I mean, that's where the Big Ten's from anyway, right? So that's where it's happening.
Yeah.
And I do. I think Michigan could give it a run, too. I could see Purdue or Michigan making it to the Final Four.
I just want the paper.
Fuck it,
so,
whatever.
I got any other last words you have on the NCAA tournament?
Do you have any last words, Hemmy, before I kill you? Okay, here. Let me go over a couple teams that I liked that we talked about, but I wanted to go over. Now you got to think of Bucknell. Bucknell is one of those teams that are pretty they're pretty decent at everything, but they're great at nothing, which means they could get hot because they're decent at everything. So they could get hot and take some emotional momentum during a game, and that's how these teams like Davidson did it in the past, and Bucknell did it in the past. Vermont, George Mason, all those guys. So they're playing West Virginia. Now West Virginia can be a little bit inconsistent, but they do got that. They got some serious scoring talent. They got enough D. They got that press D that's going to pretty much make Bucknell stagnant. So it's going to take a miracle. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying take a look at Bucknell. That's one of those upsets that people might be shocked about that I'm telling you right now could happen. They've done it. They've done it in the past. But on the flip side of that, West Virginia is one of those teams that could make a run, that you could see rolling through even to the Elite Eight, even into the Final Four, because that region is a little bit wide open with Zaga and Arizona and ND. I mean, they're all tough, but West Virginia has the guys to do it. They've beat a lot of good teams this year. So that's a team you need to look into. We already talked about Iowa State, Miami. Now Miami's a bit of a mystery, Miami, Florida, because they're atrocious offensively. Honestly, they're only ranked 266 in the country, but they play decent defense pretty well. They have a nice list of wins though. I mean, they beat Duke, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, and North Carolina. But the flip side of that is they split with all those teams. So and they've gotten rolled by a couple of them on rematches. So basically, it's like a roll of the dice. Like which one of these teams are going to show up? So I got them beating Michigan State, but Kansas should KO them. And then Iowa State's got that Monta Morris. He's a player. A couple of guys for our listeners to look out for is they got that Frank Mason. He's that guard from Kansas. He's a stud. This dude was shit coming out of high school. Like nobody wanted to give him a contract. He was just a normal brother, dude. You know what I mean? Nobody wanted to listen to him. They didn't want to talk to him. He ended up going to Towson. Well, he's committed to Towson, and he ended up getting on Kansas, and now he's averaging almost 21 this year, and he's got almost 6 assists. That's a lot for college, and he and every game that Kansas trailed him, he basically led them back with just sheer will. Lonzo Ball. He's tough. He leads the nation in assists. He goes to UCLA. He's a guy you need to pay attention to. Probably going to be a top pick in the draft, depending on who gets it. You talked about Josh Hart. He's tough. Dylan Brooks from Oregon. He's one of the reasons I picked him. He's 6'7". He's averaging 20.5 points over his past 12 games. He's peaking. You got a couple guys like Luke Kennard. He's one of the top picks in the draft. If he comes out this next year, so he's averaging 20 points a game. Shoots 50% from the field. You got a couple of good guys. So just some guys to pay attention to. And my biggest guy is the dude you're talking about, the team you're talking about, SMU, Semi Alauje, actually a J-Lay, spelled Ojeleye, a J-Lay. That's how you say it too. Dude's tough. He actually went to Duke, transferred in the middle of the season, and they won that national title that season. So he's kind of has a chip on his shoulder. He's averaging 19 points a game, 7 boards. I mean, he's tough as shit. So that's somebody you can look like. And for Gerbs, you got Bonzie Colson from Notre Dame. He's tough as shit. And there's another guy I had talking about from Notre Dame. Couple of guys. And then they got Matt Farrell. He's a guard. He's tough too. He's all ACC. So they got some good guys come in. Those are just some players that you guys can look at. But as far as the tournament goes, Big Ten's going to be whack as fuck per usual. Pac-12 is going to be tough. That's my take on it.
All right. Here's my take. I'll keep mine brief, but I have 2 upset specials that I haven't talked about yet. One, Florida Gulf Coast. I think they're going to make a little Cinderella run. They made it to the Sweet 16 back in 2013, and I think they do it again. They've got a dude named Brandon Goodwin, is a little beast. He's a transfer, and he formerly UCF, and then he has just gone off this year with Florida Gulf Coast. I think they beat Florida State, and I think that they can beat the winner of Xavier, Maryland, too, before running out against Arizona. And then my other one, you're going to hate this because they're your freaking Final Four team. I have Oregon going down in the first round, baby. Iona who? It's going to happen. You heard it here first. Fucking Iona. Okay.
You even know where them bitches are located. It ain't a fucking buffet.
Actually, Iona is a wide open offensive team. No, seriously, they are good. They've got a guy named John Sevier. He's nasty. No, I don't even know where they're from. No, I don't. Let's see. Where is Iona? Where the hell? I don't know. I don't even care. I just think they're going to beat Oregon, and then I have them beating Rhode Island and making it to the Sweet 16, baby, before Michigan.
Love it, huh?
Strikes midnight for Iona. And my team that I have winning it all, I have Villanova repeating. I think they can do it. So
I don't give a shit.
I think that's about everything we had for the NCAA tournament, but we have a couple last things here. First things first, you actually have some bets. You said you're a gambling man. You're a successful bettor. So you have some bets.
See, dude, honestly, if it wasn't for my addiction to pot limit Omaha, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now because my sports betting is amazing. Just for your listeners.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear
I nailed a 13-game parlay one time. It was a miracle. But anyways, I like Middle Tennessee State against Minnesota. They're -1.5. I think that's a lock. And I like Vanderbilt negative. I like Vanderbilt. We'll take them -2 against Northwestern. You can go ahead and parlay these together too. That'd be a nice little 2-game parlay. You get a nice payout on those. But those are good. Those are
and
good
I picked
payouts.
against both of those, by the way. So we are at odds.
Yeah, we are at odds there. That's why Hemmy is a fucking turd and don't ever gamble. Don't listen to him.
Unless I'm talking about cage fighting.
Don't listen to him then either. He likes Ronda Rousey. She sucks. All right, so we're good on the gambling there. I think those are locks. Put your money on there, and we're gonna have a tally on this at the end of the year and see where we're at. We want to my picks. I want to be above 50%, and that's when you make money. So if I can get over 50%.
And by the way, we are also going to be tracking whose bracket does better, and we will take some suggestions. This is a friendly wager between myself and Brandon on what the loser should have to do compared to the winner. So we will take suggestions from the listeners.
Yeah, let's hear that in the chat
You can
box
post them here in the chat room. You can send them to us on Facebook, wherever. We are more than willing to listen. We haven't come up with anything that we thought was perfect yet.
Yeah, just a loser gets a paddle up the ass.
Sideways. Fat end.
Shit and pancakes. All right. So we're going to head into what do we got here now, Henry?
Oh, next up, we actually do have I think is going to be one of everybody's favorite segments each week. It is the Brandon Sharples Rant of the Week.
Oh. All right, fellas. All right. So there's this thing going on right now where we have LeVar Ball. He's the father of Lonzo Ball, LiAngelo Ball, and LaMelo Ball. He is a father and a fucking douchebag. Okay, so this is what this dickweed said to USA Today Sports. First of all, a little background on him. He's the guy that said his son could beat Steph Curry one-on-one, basically saying he's better than Steph Curry right now in college at UCLA. He said to the USA Today Sports, and this is a direct quote from him, "Back in my heyday, I would kill Michael Jordan one-on-one. I would just back him in and lift him off the ground and call a foul every time he fouls me when I do a jump hook to the right or the left. He cannot stop me one-on-one. He better make every shot because he cannot go around me. He's just not fast enough. And he can only make so many shots outside before I make every bucket inside." This is from a dude that played at Washington State that averaged 2 points and 2 rebounds a game. And this dude is delirious as shit. Now, let me give you another thing he said. He said that he would crush Charles Barkley one-on-one, and that Charles doesn't know how to have a ring. He didn't know how to win a ring, so he can't possibly be any good one-on-one. He was overrated is what he was saying. Then this dude said that he wanted a $1 billion shoe deal for his sons. That's what he goes, we're starting at $1 billion. That's the number we're at, and that's where we're starting. They don't even have to give it to us all up front. We got to go $100 million a year. That's fine with me. Are you shitting me? This is one of those guys that puts unwanted pressure on his kids, and that's where my rant comes in. These fucking parents that live vicariously through their children put all this unwanted pressure on your kids for you to be happy. And to me, that is atrocious. There is a difference between guiding your kids and showing them to strive for greatness and pushing them to the limits. And there's a difference between that and living vicariously through them and punishing them when they don't reach the expectations that you have set for them. There is a problem with this society that this is happening in. This is where you see Little League coaches getting in fights with parents. They're busting up Little League coaches, sending them to the hospital, knocking them out, doing all this shit because they think their kid's the best and they can't get it through their head. And it's not that they want what's best for their children. They want what's best for them because they want to feel good and be able to brag about their kid. That's a fucking problem. And this dude's delirious as shit because he keeps going on all these shows. And now he's starting to use that leverage to kind of market his children. And, his kids are kind of coming to his defense saying he's a great dad. He's always pushed us. But at the end of the day, that's a lot of pressure, especially when you got a kid who's already going to be a top draft pick in the NBA. And then you got your other son, LaMelo, who just dropped over 90 in a high school game. So you're putting all this unwanted pressure. And guess what? They're looking at your family when they draft you. They look as far as they can deep down the path, down the yellow brick road. They're looking, and when a team sees that they don't want to deal with this fucking guy, they might not draft the number one. He could cost his son a spot at a team that he wants and cost him some money. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like these parents need to get off their kids and stop pressuring them and causing depression, causing issues. This is where kids flame out. You see so many talented kids that were so amazing when they're in the youth ranks, and then once they get past high school, not even to high school, they just flame out and they can't handle it anymore, and then they almost become a disappointment not only to their parents but to the community around them, because the community has been hyping this kid based on their parents too. They kind of prop these kids up on a pedestal, and they're just kids. So once these kids fail, this type of situation that this ball guy is doing, he's setting his kids up for failure. Now they may end up being great stars, and they may end up being just fine, and this may not hurt their career. But at the end of the day, I have a hard time believing it doesn't do some sort of psychological damage to them. And this is just one example on a major scale. This happens all across the country. Rob Marinovich. He's a robo QB. Look what happened to him. He ended up a crackhead. This is the things that go on, and I have a major problem with the way that these parents are behaving. And that that's my rant for the week. I think everybody needs to take a hard look at that. Anybody with kids that plans on having children, if you have a kid that's talented, obviously talented, even not, and you want to push them, and you want to have them work hard, that is okay. That's teaching him lessons of life, but do not make him feel like if he fails at what you want him to do, that he is no longer worth your time or anybody else's time. You need to make sure they feel loved. You need to make sure that pressure on them is not too great. It's not a pressure cooker. You don't want things to blow. You want people to take care of themselves, and you want people to be happy. And at the end of the day, the only way somebody's happy is if they love what they're doing. And if these kids don't love what they're doing, but they're doing it so you are proud, you need to take a second look at yourself. So that's my rant for the week. There we go.
Well said, Sharples. Well said. Now, this takes me to our final segment for the day. This is Hemm's Gems.
Wow, winning.
That was Charlie Sheen, by the way. Anyway, basically this segment is pretty simple, straightforward. I spend a lot of time on the computer. I spend a lot of time watching Netflix. Spend a lot of time just doing shit that is a good distraction. And I'm constantly running into stuff that I think is cool. And if I think it's cool, I want you to check it out. So first things first, this is actually a Netflix series. And a lot of people haven't heard of it. I think it is one of the best and funniest shows I have ever seen in my entire life. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It is called BoJack Horseman. It's popular, like it's kind of in the underground a little bit, but I mean, I'm not joking. This show is fucking hilarious. It's basically like based around a universe where humans live with human animal hybrids, and they don't that's just how the reality is. Like they hardly ever reference it.
Will Arnett, right?
Yeah. Will Arnett plays BoJack Horseman, the titular character. He's basically a burnout. He was basically Danny Tanner on Full House. And there was a show called Horsing Around like 20 years before that was like a 90s sitcom that was like the #1 show. And then this show takes place 20 years later after that show flamed out and got canceled. And then he's trying to just get his life back together. And he lives with a dude named Todd that is played by the kid from Breaking Bad, Aaron. What's his name? Anyway,
I know you're talking about. Yeah,
the show is just unbelievable. It really is. The everything is tied together really well. There's real life consequences. It's a lot of shit is based off of real life because nothing ever really gets tied up in a nice little wrapped in a bow after 30 minutes. Like your problems don't just get solved like that. And it treats all of its stories like that. It is one of the more realistic shows, and it's still fucking hilarious. All of that. So I highly recommend you guys check it out. I think once you watch a couple episodes, you will be addicted. It is that good. Like I started watching it, and then I blew through the first 2 seasons in like a day or two. And then they finally released season 3, and I watched all of that in one day when they finally released it. I've even watched the Christmas special, so you guys should definitely check it out, BoJack Horseman. And then for you gamers out there, especially this is a PC game, so you have to like be one of the people that uses like Steam or something. But highly recommend a game called RimWorld. It's not even officially released yet. It's still in alpha, but you can buy a copy, and then you can play the alpha version right now. But this show...
I got a question.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is this about is this like rim jobs and stuff?
No, it has nothing to do with rim jobs, I promise.
Is this one of your your interactive porn games?
No. It's about creating a colony on a planet that's not part of like the solar system. Like you crash land on a planet that's practically uninhabited, and you have to survive. Like everything, like on the surface, it seems super simple. Like the graphics aren't insanely crazy, like and you're basically controlling from above everything. But you can control everything, and there's so many mitigating factors with every decision you make. Like, you have to create a shelter, you have to make sure that each person has a bed, you have to build a stove so that they can cook their food, because if they eat raw food, they get food poisoning and can die. You have to treat every injury with medicine, or they can get infections and die. You have to keep these people safe. You have to keep them happy, or they can like have a mental break and start lighting fires and shit, or they can just binge on all the drugs.
Can you kill people?
You can kill people. You can people can raid you. Know. Yeah, and people can raid you.
Can you have a chick and get raped? You can't rape the willing, bro.
You can't. There's no rape, but I mean, you can have relationships. No, I'm telling you, this game is fucking crazy. There are and every character is different. Like, some people, they're like a pyromaniac, so they'll eventually every once in a while go on a fire starting spree, and they will not put out fires if somebody else lights a fire or something catches on fire. Some people are nudists, so they don't want to wear clothes, and they'll get pissed if you make them wear clothes, and then them not wearing clothes pisses off everybody else.
Hold on. So do you see the naked avatars?
It's very, like I said, the graphics are very basic. Like, you don't zoom in.
I'm done with this game because it doesn't.
I'm telling you, this game is one of the most complex, awesome, crazy games I've ever played in my life. Like, I've spent a lot of time playing it over the last month.
I got a gem for you. If anybody wants to go to my Facebook that knows it, I shared a picture of a dog just wrapped up a chicken and just fucking plowed this chicken. It literally sucked this chicken in and just humped the shit out of this chicken. And if you guys want to check it out, super funny. And then the chicken runs off, and he literally just starts humping the air like this dog was not done. So if you want to check that out, that's a gem for you. That's a Charlie Sheen gem.
Anyway, those two gems we will be posting on our Facebook page. You can check them out. And you know what? I will also post the dog humping the chicken on our Facebook page. All three gems. You guys can check them all out. I think they're great. Seriously, if you haven't tried WimWorld, play it. If you don't want to play it, you just want to get a taste of it, you can watch people playing it on YouTube. There's a lot of people doing that too. But it is seriously, the game's fucking crazy. So I think that's about everything that we were planning on. I want
to give a shout out to the NCAA wrestlers. NCAA College Wrestling Championships are in St. Louis this weekend. I am a Buckeye fan when it comes to wrestling, so go Ohio State. You know, got Bo Jordan, Nathan Tomasello, Kyle Snyder. You got a lot of guys. Colin Moore, a lot of guys doing good things. Miles Martin. Just good luck to all those guys. Hope they bring home some hardware. So
yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Adam Martin and Brad Taschuk. Those guys, they actually had a show that was called At Odds. That finished, and they stopped doing it like 3 years ago, and they're all doing their own podcast now and a whole bunch of different stuff. But I thought that like their show was more about gambling, and that's what the Odds was from. Like, just it was about betting on MMA and stuff. But I thought that name was brilliant, especially with how me and Brandon very rarely see eye to eye, and I think we're going to have a lot of very fun disagreements over episodes to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to give a shout out to them because they kind of gave us the idea of this show. So
and you know, I think we definitely disagree on a lot of things. I mean, this is kind of a situation where there's just a lot of things that we just needed to discuss today. You know, maybe we'll get a little bit more into it the next episode. But
we're going to disagree a lot when we get to Big Ten. And
this dude likes Bernie. He's a Bernie Sanders fan. Kooky motherfucker.
I'm
but
all
listen,
about the burn. Feeling it.
Yeah, he likes getting the burn from those chicks he's using those condoms on. But listen, if you really like this show, not those fucking condoms, goddamn recycled from waste. But listen, if you guys like the show, if there's any improvements you want to see, just let us know, message us, tell us things that, you know, give us some feedback. But if you do like the show, go ahead and give us a like or you know, share it. Sharing is something that will really help us expand. You know, we'll be able to get sponsors that way. I'll really appreciate it if you guys could share the show and put the word of mouth out and get us going. But I really had fun today. It will only improve from here. Things will only get better. It's fun. I had a great time, and I appreciate everybody that listened. But I do have to say one thing. For those that stuck around, you're about to get fucking Rick rolled, baby.